What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. It takes a lot of balls for somebody who just got beat so terribly in Iowa by Donald Trump to assume that they have a path to the nomination. There is no path to nomination for anyone, especially anybody who's trying to run to the right of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president. That was, of course, made very clear in a dominant, in fact, nay, I say, the most dominant performance in any contested primary in history in Iowa. This is the most anyone has ever received running in a against competition in the caucuses for Iowa. No one has ever even come close, which is, of course, why Donald Trump's team is sharing memes like this on social media. This is the most anyone's ever gotten since 1988, but this was Bob Dole back in the Reagan era, and Bob Dole only got 37%. So here you go, 1988, 37%. This was a contested primary. Donald Trump got 51%. So who in the hell in their right minds thinks that they can continue to run against Donald Trump? Oh yeah, it's Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley isn't running against Donald Trump for the Republican primary. Nikki Haley is running for the Democrat primary. Nikki Haley is running as a Democrat. Nikki Haley is a Democrat. Poll nearly half of Nikki Haley's Iowa backers say they'd vote for Biden over Trump. Iowa poll finds that most likely GOP caucus goers would vote for Trump in the 2024 general election, but not Haley supporters. Nikki Haley supporters are Democrats. And that was proven actually by reporting on the ground during the Iowa caucuses. Watch.
Major, it's been a very interesting night. They just finished voting. This was a room in favor of Nikki Haley, overwhelmingly so. Ron DeSantis second, Donald Trump a distant third. The most interesting development of the evening, and Anthony Salvanto will find this to be very interesting indeed. They had 50 forms for people who wanted to register tonight or switch their party registration. They ran out of those forms. Members of the caucus team here had to run out to multiple people's homes to get printer paper and get their printers fired up. They printed another 25 or so sheets of paper. They estimate about 75 people were new registrations or switched their registration from Democrat to Republican in order to play in this caucus tonight. And I think that's a big reason why Nikki Haley was lifted up. You're getting a little noise here as they clean up. Was so impressive in this particular outing. If she can repeat that, because we're talking about 20% of the vote here, thereabouts, give or take, were new registrations or crossovers, and that is above the typical rate. You see estimates about 10% in a typical open caucus. So if she can outperform in counties like this one, at caucus sites like this one, then that bodes well for her ability to have a strong second, which of course is what her campaign really wants.
So did you hear that? They ran out of the cards that switch your vote from Republican to Democrat. They ran out of the cards at this caucus location inside of a heavily Democrat county in Iowa, a place called Johnson County. So Nikki Haley wins by Democrats flipping for her. This, of course, was a photo taken by our team of your average Nikki Haley voter. Does this look like your middling Republican to you? Here's your average Nikki Haley voter. Does this look like your average Republican? No. This looks like your embittered Democrat, all hopped up on copium for beating Donald Trump. And luckily, Nikki Haley's donors straight up admit, hi, I'm Democrat. I'm a Democrat. This we are here to rig the Republican primary process because he's so screwed the pooch with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They're so unlikable. We will lose that race. So we might as well just run a Democrat for the Republican position in that race. Then we'll win-win. Hey, 31 flavors, Baskin Robbins.
It's the quarter before that. So the money train is still flowing and going. Are you worried, though?
Thank you, Neil, for having me, and Happy New Year. I didn't. We actually have a large fundraiser on the 30th of January at a major apartment in New York City where we're raising a tremendous amount of money. Believe it or not, a number of it coming from Democrats.
Okay, pal, you're not supposed to say that on national TV, you moron. Nikki Haley announcing after coming in third that it's a two-person race? What?
I can safely say tonight Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
Okay, listen, again, as delusional as her donors straight up saying that it's because of Democrats that Nikki Haley is getting support. The polling literally saying that it's because of Democrats that Nikki Haley is getting votes. Look at this polling, by the way. Look at this crosstab. If Donald Trump is a Republican nominee in the general election in November, would you vote for him or Joe Biden or an independent third candidate, RFK? Look at this. Overall, among likely Iowa GOP voters, Joe Biden gets a pretty astonishing 11%, which I think is a little strange, but they do allow same party registration, right? Same day, registration in Iowa, which is silly, but it is the rules. Among Haley supporters, 43% say that they want Joe Biden. Truly remarkable. But why? Why are Nikki Haley donors and voters so excited for Joe Biden in the general election over Donald Trump? Why? Well, because, ladies and gentlemen, they are actually Democrat. I mean, they're Democrats and they're supporting a Democrat. Democrat donors are funding her, the same person that's funding a lawsuit against Donald Trump right now. The Jean E. Carroll defamation lawsuit against Donald Trump right now. That same donor, Reed Wilson, is bankrolling Nikki Haley with endless amounts of cash. Why? Well, because Nikki Haley says it's rude to call illegal aliens illegal aliens.
But let's keep in mind, these people that are wanting to come here, they want to come for a better life too. They have kids too. They have a heart too. So we don't need to be disrespectful. We don't need to talk about them as criminals. They're not. They're families that want a better life, and they're desperate to get here.
What kind of immigration policy do you think Nikki Haley would bring to our country as president? She would sign the largest amnesty bill in American history. Mark my words. Why do people call her? Why are there so many memes about her as Hillary Clinton? Well, because she is Hillary Clinton. Here she is talking on stage about how much she loves Hillary Clinton. Nikki Haley's inspiration for her entire political career was Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton is actually the reason, I may not agree with her on a lot of things, but she is actually the reason that I made the jump. And so then I had to figure out whether I was Republican or Democrat. So.
Oh, okay. How bad is this for Nikki Haley? There's actually literally attack ads being run against her by the DeSantis team, who also didn't drop out. That's a whole different ball of wax there, about the number of times that Nikki Haley has praised Hillary Clinton. Watch this.
If you have to lie to win, you don't deserve to win. I never said Hillary Clinton was an inspiration.
You know, I often say that the reason I got into politics was because of Hillary Clinton.
I didn't know her, although I had met her several years before at a women's professional event in Greenville, South Carolina. At that event, she had inspired me to run for office and make my voice heard. And in some ways, she remained inspiring.
She is actually the reason that I made the jump.
Because you write about her being a big inspiration for you.
I went with my friend Eleanor Kitzman to a Furman leadership program where Hillary Clinton was speaking. And I walked out of there and I said, I'm running for office.
This is, of course, also why Rand Paul is able to make memes like this. Netflix presents Hillary as Nikki Haley. Rand Paul went scorched earth, not endorsing in the presidential race, but saying he's going to anti-endorse nevernikki.net. Rand Paul put this up in order to run hard against Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley, of course, is being trolled big time. Dem light. Anna Paulina Luna, great member of Congress there. Even Ben Shapiro has effectively come around. Ben Shapiro is a big-time DeSantis backer, but has come around saying that there's no path forward for any other candidate. Donald Trump has won here. And, well, I think the only path forward that anyone can see is to have voters like this, to have Democrats vote for you, which is actually what Nikki Haley's campaign is. It's a campaign of Democrats. Half of Nikki Haley's Iowa backers say they'd vote for Biden. Who in their right mind, which Republican would ever do that? No Republican would ever do this. So the Democrat donors admit it. Her policies admit it. Her own words admit it. And her own voters admit it, that they're plants. Nikki Haley is a plant. Now, this is exactly what Tucker Carlson talked about recently when asked what he would think about Nikki Haley being on a ticket with Donald Trump. And I think Tucker said it just perfectly here. Watch.
Would you vote for Trump if he chose Nikki as VP? And Would you guys vote for Trump?
Well, that's the question that I asked you specifically.
Well, I would not only not vote for that ticket, I would advocate against it as strongly as I could.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's just poison. I mean, here's someone who's actively opposed to the interests of the country I grew up in, who endorsed the BLM riots, and who is not only is not left, but is neoliberal in the darkest, most, speaking of nihilistic way, and has no real popular support. Is a creature of the oligarchs. So yeah, that would be reason to oppose the ticket.
Even Trump, Haley is a no-go.
Nikki Haley.
He would get assassinated immediately if that were the case.
Yeah, and by the way, I just can't imagine a world where that could happen. That would be so crazy. I mean, anything could happen, of course, but picking Nikki Haley, who's utterly treacherous and utterly dismissive of, like, the interests of Americans. Yeah.
It's a no-go for me, but it's a yes for BlackRock.